Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast. This is episode 23 and our third show that we put on here, part of our Buffalo Run Race collection. This episode, we are talking to Jacquie King of Ogden, Utah. Jacquie is competing in her first 50-mile trail race. We caught her just after the race, asked her a few questions, see how it went. So listen in and see where it goes. Okay, welcome back to another special edition of the Trail Manners Podcast. We are still out here on beautiful Antelope Island, the Buffalo Run.
Yep.
The wind's picking up a little bit, so you might be able to hear that in the background, and I will not edit the wind because that makes part of the whole aura of the conversation.
It's the ambiance.
It is the ambiance. The flags are whipping, the buffalo furs flying, right? No one can see that. So.
No.
So, again, we got a new guest with us. Joel, why don't you introduce our 50-mile finisher, first time ever.
That's right. First time 50-mile finisher, Jacquie King. Right.
Yay.
Can you hear the excitement?
I did it.
She literally finished less than 5 minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago.
We grabbed her right off the finish line, said, get a jacket, get a beer, get over here.
I think she barely had enough time to say hi to friends and family and grab the beer, which we need to thank her for. She brought us.
Yeah.
It's a Rogue
8 hop IPA. 8.88% alcohol.
It's pretty tasty.
Yeah, this might get interesting.
It was a lot better than that swill we've been drinking all afternoon.
Literally all afternoon.
Yeah.
So, Jacquie, first thing that comes to your mind, your first 50-mile finish, what do you got?
I'm super stoked that it's done. And I kind of loved it in that, sick sadistic way, trying to push the limits. And I feel like this was my first big girl race.
Right.
I've done a handful of ultras now, but just, 50K, 55, kind of staying in the little kiddie pool. This is the first.
That's the JV league.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on who you talk to, right?
This is varsity, right?
You're stepping up, making that transition.
Well, I got to say, I've been around racing, not necessarily racing myself, but a lot of races, and you look pretty good for finishing. I mean, your spirits seem pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't have the wonderful bonk that everyone talks about. I had a couple of little, not complete mental breakdowns, but a couple of why am I doing this moments.
That's normal.
That is
yeah,
normal.
I feel like everyone does that.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I have pretty good recovery on these. So.
Right on.
So what do you say? What was your high point of the whole race?
Finishing for sure. For sure, being done.
Right.
But the whole race, it really was amazing. So it's gorgeous out here. Jim puts on a great race. Not really getting charged by bison, but I had to go off trail for a herd.
Nice.
So that was,
that's part of the
makes
ambiance,
the race.
right?
Yeah, that's why you come out here. So.
Because they're wild, just like the songs, right? Where the buffalo roam.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I got you there for a minute.
You
They're out here roaming around. They'll come after you if they feel like it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So tell us a little bit about your first part of your race, the first 20 miles.
The first 20 miles, I felt really, really good. I was running really fast, but comfortably fast because it's a really fast course out here compared to what I've run this year and compared to what I train on. I feel like
True, it's definitely runnable, right?
Yeah, super runnable. Coming back into the start, finish, and leaving, my IT band decided to blow up, which is always awesome. So that was my first mini breakdown there, thinking, why am I doing this? Why is my IT band blowing up? It never, I never have issues with it. It's probably because somebody wouldn't let me go to Bomber past Monday of this week.
I forbade her from coming in this week.
I know. I wasn't allowed to lift and work on my IT band, so it decided to blow up.
Well, there we go.
So that's totally opposite of when Harrison comes in during race week, instead of him lifting his normal weight, he'll double it.
Oh, gotcha. Got to go big.
But that's just his MO. That's how he operates, and we figured out it works for him, but it's not going to work for everybody. So we told Jacquie she wasn't allowed into the gym the second part of the week, and I think she's having a little bit of withdrawals.
Yeah,
and it's manifesting itself in the IT band.
And
probably.
probably is, and now that's she's not happy about it.
No, but actually she is. She's sitting here drinking
She
the
is.
beer.
And she looks. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't see. Obviously, it's a podcast, but
She's smiling.
there's not carnage on this one. This
No.
is just
No.
smiling. She's sitting down with us. So.
I know. I was surprised she came across the finish line looking kind of fresh.
I know. That's what made Joe like, nice. We can get her right on here.
I feel like it was a pretty slow 50 miler though. So,
So what was your time? Do you remember?
I don't, because I actually had watch issues, so it didn't start.
What time we got right now?
It's about 5:14. So
What time did you guys start this
We
morning?
started at 6. I think it was probably
11.
right around 11 hours.
11's not bad for your first 50 miler.
Except
Yeah.
the cutoff's 12 and a half.
That's okay.
So if you think about it in that sense, it's not that
But look,
great.
think it in the sense that you've never run a 50.
Nope, you've never been above
Yeah.
what 33, 5.
5.
So you don't know
35.
what's going to happen at
Yeah,
that
you
point.
got into
No.
that unknown zone.
Yeah. And plus you're saying you had some IT issues.
Right.
Yeah.
No crew, no pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no crew, no pacers.
Right? Yeehaw.
Yeah. So what was the low point?
Mile 42 when
Right.
I kind of just after that last the last aid station, I was in between Lower Prairie and the last aid station. I kind of started to just walk a lot, and I'd try and force myself to run, and I'd try and run when the chorus came on songs, and then it turned into I'm gonna run every other song chorus, and then I'm gonna run the downhills. So
And then I'm going to turn this off.
then I'm gonna
Yeah.
turn this off and just pout and walk.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned before we went on air, you said, "God, I don't know how you guys do 100 milers." So tomorrow morning, me and Joel have a bet that you're going to be surfing the internet looking for a 100 miler.
Totally.
Oh, I guarantee I will be. I always
Yeah.
say this. It's kind of that mentality. You get done with it and you're like, why would I ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
But then you're like, oh, my body can do 50 miles and I feel okay. So what about 100? So
That's natural, right?
It is.
What about 100? I mean, everybody thinks that.
I think so. I think especially the way that you look and you're talking right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty confident in saying by the end of the week she's going to find something to sign up for.
So speaking of that, what else are you signed up for this year?
Yeah.
I mean, this is your third race this year?
This is my third race. So this is actually the last race that I have signed up for. So I have a lot of events coming up for my work, beer events. So I might
right.
be out of town. So it's trying to fit in races around beer events and river rafting. But river rafting, we weren't very successful on permits.
Really?
So
Didn't get anything?
we got one, but it's late August.
So which one did you get?
We got the salmon, the
Oh, good.
middle fork of the salmon.
Right on.
So
That's cool.
yeah, so that'll be good, but it pretty much leaves my summer wide open. So
Right.
Bryce is
Bryce.
looking really, really good.
We're going to be down there.
Capitol Reef was top on my list, but I have a wedding I have to go to. So
Come on, why get married on Capitol Reef weekend?
I know.
Well, it's
And
not her
in-
wedding.
It's
doesn't
in
matter.
Michigan.
What kind of friends
too.
is that?
Like humidity galore.
Bugfest.
And Bugfest.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, you
but-
can drink good beer, make the best of that trip.
Yeah. So
Right.
we'll see. The Ultra Adventures races are always super fun to go to.
Right. So what's that last one they have? Tushers.
Tushers and all.
Tushers.
That's a little scary for me.
That's the same weekend as El Vaquero.
It is?
El Vaquero.
Are you going to be around that weekend?
Yes.
Do
And
Vaquero.
I got waitlisted last year for El Vaquero.
Just do it.
So
Sign up.
I should just sign up for
Tomorrow.
that one. 'cause
Do
that's,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me
do
and
it.
There
Joel
we
just
go.
me and Joel just signed up
And
this
it's
week.
only
I
a
know.
50K.
I
And
know,
I can
and the
say
price
that
is right.
now.
I was gonna
It's
say.
only a
Yeah.
50K.
Right? Isn't that crazy to think about like a year ago, right? You started getting into ultra running maybe because I badgered you into it.
What a good influence.
I know. And now here we are. We're talking. You just finished your first 50 miler, and you can look back on it. You're like, that's only 50K.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Isn't
It's
it?
crazy to think.
That you're out there and you're running, and one, it sucks sometimes, but
Yep.
also it's wonderful because it is a big head game.
Yep.
And when you're on, it is like euphoria. It's like freaking cocaine rock star fun, right?
Yes.
It's like Smurf nuts to the wall fun. And then the low points, well, we talked about this earlier in the podcast. Low points are always going to be there.
Yep.
It's how you deal with them, how you get through them, because you're always going to get through them.
No matter, yeah,
Right?
you'll get through 'em.
Always going to get through them.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the better you get at actually getting through them.
Because you know what's gonna happen, what it takes, what's been there.
That's right.
Yeah, it does. So your first 2 races this year were Black Canyon, is that right?
I
she
did
didn't do that.
Red Hot.
Red Hot, that's right.
Red Hot 33, and then Antelope Canyon 55.
Back-to-back
Yeah,
weekends.
back-to-back
Yeah,
weekends.
that's
yeah.
insane. That's awesome.
It
Yeah.
is. And then she pulls this off a month later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first 50 miles. So yeah, you might be looking for a 100-mile race in April.
Oh God, no! I don't. What would that
Zion.
even be?
Zion,
Zion?
right?
No.
100K?
No.
Zion.
100K.
Zion, yeah, Zion 100K.
Yeah,
That'd
Zion
be doable.
100K, not Zion 100 miler.
That could be doable. So
So what else did you learn out there today?
Yeah.
Because you've done the 50K, the 33K, you jumped up to the 50 mile. What did you learn? Obviously, besides the mileage being different, what else did you learn about it?
I feel like my nutrition, I need to work on that a little bit. I have it dialed in for like a 55K and below, but I had no major stomach problems, but kind of just a little bit like wishy-washy stomach today. But I use pretty much strictly gels and pure sugar, which
right.
my body is not necessarily used to.
No, she's
so.
kind of like a 80-20 type of person.
Okay.
Meaning that she's doing like Whole 30 type of for 80% of the time, and then the other 20%
It's
she's
beer.
barely.
Beer. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
80-20, 80 food, 20 beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80% whole. I eat Whole 30 food 100% of the time, so I can drink beer 20% of
Gotcha.
the time.
So what
sounds like a
did
good
you
plan.
use today for like your fueling? Like you say, gels and sugars. What did you
So
use?
I use the EFS liquid shots,
Okay.
and then I use the ProBar bolts, and that's like pretty. That's all I did, other than like oranges and potato chips here and there,
Really?
because I knew that I could stomach those. I was afraid to do the tortillas and burritos.
Oof.
So.
Yeah, those are good. I mean,
And even the cookies for me would
yeah,
be.
that'd be tough.
I don't do the
think
cookies.
I think the tortillas and burritos is something
are
you have.
safe.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at and what you're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
you know, what you're
especially at
used to.
night. I mean, if you're like doing a 100-miler at night, those are pretty safe.
Or maybe if you're moving slow, you got time
Yeah.
to get that cycle through and digest or whatever. I think that's pretty safe too.
So what'd you drink out there?
I just did straight water.
Okay.
I took a couple salt tabs. The
Right.
last aid station I took heed, but I have trained with Tailwind,
Okay.
but not kind of religiously, so I was a
Right.
little afraid to switch it up.
Did
Yeah.
they have
So-
Tailwind here today? What'd they
No,
have here?
I actually put some Tailwind. They had just had heed.
Okay.
Yeah, all hammer stuff. I
Right.
put some Tailwind in one of my drop bags, and I stared at it, and
didn't
yeah,
connect.
it was one of those things. The only thing I used out of any of my drop bags were switching out shoes and socks, and I did do the squeaky cheeks in the socks, and
That's
I think
magic, isn't
yeah,
it?
so
what-
magic.
So what point did you change out your shoes?
Lower Prairie the second time around, so
Okay.
it's mile 38.8. So
Wow.
So what was that like? Was that like, oh, this is magic, or
it
so-so?
was magic. I ran the first 39 miles in my superiors, so
Okay.
super low cushion, zero drop.
Right.
And I know you hate them, but then I switched out to the cushy Olympuses.
Right
so
on.
yeah, that was nice for the first little bit. Kind of felt like I was flying, and then reality set in
So if
4 miles later, and I hated life.
well, there we are.
Yeah.
So say today kind of happened but didn't happen, and you have to race this exact race tomorrow. What would you do differently?
I think that I would somewhere have real food on me, and by real food like Larabar or some actual
Right.
something that's gonna
Substance.
sit in my stomach a little bit heavier.
Because you are moving slow enough that you can digest.
Yeah,
that.
I can yeah, I'm not a
You're not like
lead of the packer here. I'm a steady middle of the pack
That
to
girl.
That's
back
good.
of the middle of the pack.
Hey, welcome to the club.
Yeah, love
It's
it.
I call them mopeds.
Mopeds?
Middle. I call it middle of the pack endurance dude.
Oh yeah,
Middle of the pack endurance dudette.
yeah,
Oh.
It's
love
mopeds.
it. Mopeds.
Yeah.
Love it.
that's
We're gonna
kinda
start a
like-
club.
The mopeds, man.
Yep.
That's awesome.
You hear it here first. We own
That's
it.
right. Hashtag moped. Own it.
Don't be that person.
Yeah.
Multiple
Don't be
hashtags.
yeah.
So now you've trained up to this point, and I know you don't have really a race next on the horizon. But if you now tweaking your training up to this point, if you went past today, how would you tweak your training going forward?
Well, since clearly I'm signing up for a 100-miler,
Yeah.
I have to start. I'm going to need to start running more at night. I would also like to pace somebody on a 100-miler.
That's a
maybe
good idea.
That's a good
before,
idea.
Just because I see that blank stare, and I
Right.
don't know if I can deal with that myself yet. So probably upping mileage, training more at night, and then I don't know if there are like sleep deprivation exercises you can do. I enjoy sleep. I like to get like a solid 8 hours a night. So, I mean,
you gotta
I'm
run really
normally
fast.
in bed
You gotta
in
run
like
fast.
9:30.
Oh,
so,
me too.
like that's my
yummy stuff right there.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
9:30 is
I'm
like I
up at
can't
like
wait
6,
to go to bed.
but like 9:30 to 6 is a pretty like that's a solid.
That's like 9
That's
hours.
Yeah,
eight-
or
eight and a
solid
half
8.5
hours.
hours of sleep.
Wow.
So I gotta do sleep deprivation exercises of some sort.
Or you just need to run super fast the first 50 and then take an 8-hour nap
Yep.
and then get up and run super fast.
You could do that.
And that we'll just do some more like interval training, speed work, fartleks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. That'd
That's
be
a
good.
real word.
I
It
know.
is. It sounds
Um,
funny,
It
especially if you have a
means
good beer.
speed play in Swedish, which that sounds a little
That sounds weird too,
yeah,
right?
speed play. I like that.
That is pretty good.
That's a little kinky.
That is. That's a little off there a little bit. Now the 8.88's kicking in.
That's right.
So you're happy with your day overall?
Very happy. Yep.
Can you do it again because you're already thinking of a 100-miler?
Yeah, I would totally do a 50-miler again. Probably 2 hours. I'll commit to doing a 100-miler after I
gonna-
finish this beer. I'll for
If
sure
we keep
commit.
talking long enough, I think you might be
She'll be
committing
on
before.
Oh,
Ultra
God,
Sign Up
yeah.
by the end of this
You know what's funny?
podcast.
You know what's funny too is Mark Gilligan from Ultra Sign Up, the man.
Oh,
is
yeah,
here.
he's here.
He's taking the
Oh.
finish times, and he's. You know what's funny? I looked over there and I'm like, who's wearing the Hummer hat, Happy Utah Mountain Runner hat? Because it's a hat that came from my garage.
Right.
And I'm like, that's Mark Gilligan. So he's here, and I'm from Ultra Sign Up. So maybe just walk over to him and say, yo, give me your tablet. I'm hooking it up right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Give me that because that tablet's going to have be at least 50% off.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? It's like auto 50% off.
That's right, man.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Race discounts.
That's
Because
right.
those bad boys are getting pricey now.
They are,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Boy,
I
I
races
was
are
just looking
getting
at that
stout.
Bryce race, and it's $300.
What?
Yeah,
For the
I'm
100
serious.
miler?
The 100
Yeah.
miles.
300?
Okay,
Yeah.
to like 90.
No way.
So I'm
290
gonna
is
ride it.
300,
I'm gonna ride
yeah.
it. 300.
It's really that high?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that hurts,
I
right?
don't understand that.
You
to be
get
honest
some
with
cool
you.
T-shirts and hats and
It's a
good
$200
pizza, but-
T-shirt, or
Yeah.
Well, you do get good pizza. When we talked
yeah,
about
that
this,
is.
Yeah.
don't
that
eat the
wood-fire
pizza before the race. You save it for
No.
after.
Yeah.
Save it for after
Yeah,
for
never
sure.
before.
Wow.
But yeah, it's getting up there where, man, I'm not
That's-
sure
I can't,
about that.
I can't afford to do. I'm gonna have to start doing more venture runs.
Right. Well, that's like once a year type of thing. You
Yeah,
don't do
right.
multiple.
Oh man, that's a lot,
It is.
man. So what overall with the atmosphere? Because as you mentioned, you kind of slowly been getting into this from last year, and you've hit it big this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
think
3
so.
stout races
I
to
had
start
a-
the year.
Pretty aggressive race schedule, but I think I needed one to get to this 50-miler. It's hard. This winter was super hard to train just with the snow.
It was.
Yeah.
So
We had a lot.
I
here.
kind of had to force myself to because I had an aggressive race schedule. So
Right. Well, I
Wow.
think you just kind of dove into it too, which
Yeah.
is which is good, right? I mean,
Yeah.
now you're into it and you're like, okay, I think I kind of like this. I want to do it again, or I want to bump it up to that next level. And now you realize I kind of like this.
I really like it. I
Right?
just want to be better at it.
That's the kicker, because I mean, a lot of people are like that. They have that. It's almost like that competitiveness against yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily, hey, I'm trying to win first place,
Oh,
or
no.
here's a couple people coming across in Waldo outfits.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is kind of, you probably were with those guys at some
Yeah,
point
Straight.
they,
today.
yeah,
Real-
they were
straight up
50
all day.
Yeah,
milers,
for sure. Yeah, that's straight
Yep.
up. They're holding hands, they're crossing. That's awesome. You can probably hear them in the background. So you're training up to this point. How have you trained? Like, is it morning, night? Squeeze it in here and there. Big runs, long runs, back to backs.
I'm a middle of the day. Fortunately, I quit my adulting job.
I gotta hear
So
about that.
yeah, I brew beer now and bottle beer and do beer sales.
Your beer sales.
So yeah, I'm a beer bitch kind of.
You're
right?
a beer pusher.
Yeah, I push beer.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
that sounds like a good job.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
know.
say.
So I have a very fluid schedule.
You do. I mean,
Not
So
fluid
I-
like beer, though, right?
Yeah,
You meant
fluid-
fluid. Yeah,
very
yeah,
flexible.
there we go.
Very flexible. So mid-morning to early afternoon. Lately I've been trying to do, with this coming up, I tried to kind of hit the heat of the day.
right.
I tried to run heat of the day so I would kind of know what it was like to be out here for 11 hours.
right.
Since
That's different.
yeah.
That's different.
It
It
is.
is, because prior to this, I think 7.5 was the longest I had been out. So
But isn't that cool though?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you get that big difference between
Yeah.
7 and 11. So you get 4 hours extra being on your feet. That's something new.
Well, I mean, I tell people, like, who've talked to me, they're like, how long are you out there? And I tell them, and like, imagine most people, okay, I'm generalizing, but most people have a job. They work 8 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
imagine running the time you get to work, you're off work, now it's like dinner time, you're still
still
moving and moving, and people are
Yeah.
like, oh
Walking,
my gosh,
power
that's,
hiking,
that's a
yeah.
long time, and it takes something to wrap your head around.
And when you're on the trail for that long, it, like you said, becomes that mind game.
Yeah.
How you can control that thought pattern, those emotions to have that optimal outcome.
And how did you do that today, since this was 11 hours? I mean, how did you kind of wrap around that? Because we have a lot of people out there that are kind of getting into trail running. Maybe that's their first time, or maybe they're waiting to take that plunge. I mean, what would you say to something like that?
Oh, go for it. Dive in head first. Force yourself to love it.
Well, don't force yourself to love it,
yeah,
right?
don't-
You have to have this
Yeah.
innate love of
The outdoors
activity, right?
and the
You do,
activities,
right?
yeah.
And the
Just-
people, too.
Yeah, take it in, especially this year. So I started ultras. My first ultra was actually Zion last year. I did the Zion 50K. So my first ultra was less than a year ago.
Right.
And since then, I see familiar faces. Last year I
Right.
didn't really,
Yeah.
because kind of like first year
You're the
in.
Getting
new girl in
into
the
it.
scene.
Yeah, but
Right?
this year, I see people that I've seen at every race
Right.
this season.
That's
So
funny
yeah,
how it is.
and you kind of make friends wherever you go, and you
Yep.
don't need a pacer or a crew like you said, because you just you latch on to somebody that's running about the same pace as you,
Yep.
and then if they slow down, you pass them. If they get a lot faster than you get angry and
Pass
let
them.
them go.
yeah,
Yeah.
let him
And
go.
then let them go, and then hope to God you catch up to them later.
Yep.
But
Which you usually do.
yeah.
So what did you do before last year at Zion? Did you have a running background? What was that like? Or just outdoors?
I just super outdoorsy. I played lacrosse in high school and college, so not really a running background, but it's similar mileage-wise to soccer in what you run up and down the field.
Yeah.
So you run for practice and everything, but not really ever running. And I remember working out at Bomber
Right.
and having Deb and Missy and who else did we have? We had
Harry.
Lindsay come and Harry, and
Yep.
just sitting there and thinking, God, I wish that I could run. I wish that I could be an ultra runner, because I think it's so cool.
Right.
And they'd always just say, well, you can. Like,
Yeah.
you just do it.
You just do it.
do it. It's not that hard. And then Joel kind of got inside my
Badgered
head like
you.
he does
Yeah.
and badgered
He does
me.
that. He does that. I
So-
get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're happy for it, right?
Oh, yes. I love it. I actually love it. I think my husband hasn't fully embraced it, but he loves the cool places we go, and he
Right.
always goes out and hikes.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to convince him to be like Lane Farka and like perfect crew, because he would,
You know
I think
what?
he would. I think
He
would
would
be
be awesome.
he's got
super-
those characteristics,
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
qualities.
for sure. And
right?
he's got a cool beard.
He does.
Oh,
have
yeah.
cool-
He fits
holy
right
cow.
in.
He's got the ultra beard.
He does.
oh,
for sure.
yeah.
So many ultra runners wish they had a beard like Connor.
Oh, for
really,
sure.
do.
Yeah. I just wish he would. He'll never pace me, but I wish that he
No.
would be a little bit more supportive of the running aspect of things. But as
He'll
long as
get there.
as long as he crews,
It's
then that's
new.
good.
It's
Yeah.
new
It
for
is
him.
it's
new.
new for him.
It's hard to
yeah.
wrap your head around.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
being out here on a day like today, where the weather's nice,
Yep.
right? There's a lot of cool people out here, and there's dogs and there's beer.
Yeah.
What's not to love about that, right?
He's like pushing. Well, and there's that. You know,
My
it's like
dog's in
the
the
uncertainty
background.
too. It's just like you have your significant other, the person you care about. You see them like struggle at any point, right? So if there's a point where they're like struggling a little bit or not feeling good, there's that little part of you that kind of like, well, why are you doing this? You
Right.
know what I mean? Because you care about that person.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little bit time to wrap around. Oh, okay, this is normal.
But I
right?
suspect that he has not. Now we're speaking of Connor here. I
Yeah.
don't think he's seen her at that middle of the night moment
Yeah.
yet,
No.
where you're just wrecked
Yeah,
and you're at your lowest point. That's a whole different ballgame.
it is.
Right?
It
Yeah,
is.
I haven't had that moment yet, and
Yeah.
that's why I try and like. I think that's why I'm so happy when I get done and
Sure.
and so upbeat, because it's like, oh, if I show him how horribly I'm doing, then he won't notice. He won't keep coming back and and
He
supporting
will.
me.
I think he'll eventually
It
he'll
takes
embrace
time.
it, right?
It takes time for
So.
sure. Well, I think that's. I mean, we don't want to keep you either
No,
because you
let's
just
do a
finished
quick lightning
quick
round.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay, so
quick lightning
yeah.
round.
Are you ready for this?
Totally
Yeah.
right.
This isn't stuff you get to think about.
No, I'll take the
Oh,
first
God.
one.
Oh, this is gonna be tough. As our first 50. Go ahead. I know
Top
what
3
this-
beers.
I knew you were gonna.
Oh
take
God,
that.
top 3 beers. Pliny the Elder. I know. I think it's the best. I really do.
We do too.
It's amazing.
We're fanboys.
Number
Yeah, we
2. So
Wait, stop there, right? Is there
you
any
could.
is
There
any
actually
other beer
is. So
besides Pliny?
there
Okay, well,
is
let us in.
Coal Creek Tap.
Oh, that's right.
So it is this small little brewery out of
And
Laramie,
that's right.
Wyoming.
Podunk,
Started
Laramie.
off as a coffee shop.
Yep.
They
Good
do
coffee shop too.
every year they change the recipe on a beer called For the Love of Hops.
Ooh,
And
I'm in.
I believe it was number 3 or 4. I can't even remember the number. They won't brew it again. Second to Pliny, and after about 3 beers, better than.
Oh,
But that was 3 beers. It was
like-
at a beer fest. So 3 beers, and I was like, no, this is totally better.
That's a 3 beers of brat with sauerkraut and mustard. And
Yeah.
right.
so what's
Yeah.
what's the third or
Oh,
last
number
on the 3
3?
top?
I really like Ninkasi. I've always been a
Yeah,
fan of
I love
Ninkasi.
Which one?
Ninkasi.
Tricera.
Tricera hops, yeah.
That's yummy.
It's just kind of like a really, really good, I think it's more of a traditional IPA, not really West Coast, not floral hops, just nice traditional double IPA.
See, and we're talking to a beer connoisseur.
We are.
So this
Yeah.
is
I
like
try and
legit
be.
info
We can totally have a different show.
just on
just
on
beer.
beer
Just
and the
on
brewing
beer.
process.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
For
brewing
sure.
process. It's 90% cleaning, 10% burning yourself.
That's true. Now, when I used to work at the Snake River Brew Pub, I used to cook for them, and the brewers were there, and man, that's all they did was clean.
Oh,
I'm
that's all
serious.
you do.
That's all they did was
Yeah.
clean,
You gotta
which
be a
is
good
good
cleaner.
because that's what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, that's what you want when you're.
Because you don't want skanky beer.
Yeah, that's
No.
the
Right.
thing. You don't want that.
And it's
Skank
some
beer.
harsh chemicals. Caustic acid, you're
Now you didn't have
Yeah,
to
you're
bring
in
that
there.
up. Now.
Yeah.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
Come on, don't
now.
ruin this.
Yeah, don't ruin that. I love beer.
So
All
what? Since you're new to this, is there a race that is just right that's on your pie in the sky list, even though it may not be now
Oh,
or next
God.
year?
hard rock.
my
It has to be. And it's I honestly, in my mind, I want to pace for hard rock before I actually
That's ballsy.
Yeah,
I
it
know,
is.
it's
This is my first
yeah.
50 mile hard rock.
hard rock. I want to run. I want to pace for hard rock. Is that like
Now, listen, if you're going to say, oh, I ultimately want to do hard rock, then you can't say that you're not ready to do the race that cannot be named.
Yeah, you said that earlier. It's
Right?
like it's too late for
I
that.
know. Oh,
Hard rock's on the list. You gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
but
This is-
I'm talking about like maybe hard rock in 3 years.
But
And
the
then
race
I can
that
do the
that
race
cannot
that cannot be named.
the race that
next
cannot
year?
be named is doable this year. Then
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's
I gotta commit then.
well, you got
You
because
gotta
if you want to do it
commit.
in 3 years, number one, you need
Yeah.
to
what's your
qualify.
login for Ultra sign up?
Yeah, right. I got
Yeah,
the laptop
it's
right
a-
here.
exactly.
Got a little bit of
Oh,
battery power
no.
left too.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Jill,
awesome.
what you got for?
All right. Gandalf the Grey or Dumbledore?
God, Gandalf.
And that had me for me. It took me a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
I'm
had-
not a
yeah.
Harry Potter guy. It took me a second.
Or
on
could
that
you
one.
do like Gandalf the White after he dies and comes back?
So
Well,
I guess
I'm already
that's
kinda
a
lost
good
now.
question. So Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White?
I
so
feel
which
like Gandalf the Grey was more my steez, if you will, because
Sure.
he's kind of like he's a little dirtbaggy,
he is
right?
Well, so
So-
who was the wizard in the woods? The guy that had the rabbits.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna let you guys take this
Oh.
one here. I would have said Alice in Wonderland at this point.
I don't know.
So that's the
trying
guy.
to-
I can see that being kind of like your steez right there.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to bring back steez too.
Yeah.
By the
steez is
way,
a good term.
come on.
I'm just following.
You
This
gotta
is
bring it
interesting.
back.
All right. So I'm gonna deflect. Your turn.
No,
Eric.
no, we're good. I'm kind of enjoying this right here. Okay, so you're you do river rafting.
Yes.
So we've done the race side of things. What is the ultimate river trip for you?
Oh, Grand. It's the Grand.
Is it?
Grand Canyon, yeah. Just it's 16 to 21 days. So You're out. Yeah, you're
Holy
out
cow.
there for a really,
Like a
really
month.
long time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Again, why I quit my adulting job.
I like this adulting job thing.
I know.
I like that.
You gotta
nail that
get
one
out
down.
there and just kind of follow your dreams.
I'm on it right now.
Yeah, follow
This
your
is it.
dreams and the racing and
Podcasting. That's my thing.
jobs and podcasting and everything.
We're making a fortune here.
Fortune being 0.
Hey,
But you
everybody's
didn't
different.
bring apparel and gear out.
We did. It's
We
in the
did?
It's in the car.
Where
Oh.
is it?
It's in the car.
All right, so guilty pleasure on your iPod. What would you not readily admit to listening to that's
Oh my
on
God.
there?
Listen to it today.
Yeah?
I was actually going to write a Facebook or Instagram post about how I forgot about this song and how amazing it was.
Oh, I'm already excited. Come on.
Timberlake and Justin Timberland, Bounce. Oh, I know it's so bad.
That's awesome.
So bad.
That's so cool.
But yeah.
Okay, if you're diving into your ultra running career, right?
Yes.
You get one company to be your sponsor. Who is it?
God.
They're all listening too.
I would say right now I would say
listening.
Ultra because I love their shoes and because there's another company that I cannot name that my husband works for. So
No, you
I can
You can name them.
yeah, I can get like discounted everything on there, but I can't wear their shoes.
True. Ultra's
They
got a
don't
nice
fit.
apparel line. Their women's stuff. Have you checked
It's-
that out?
I haven't
I haven't
worn
tried
it
it
yet.
out yet.
It's pretty
It's
sweet.
a little tight, but
It
I
is a
haven't
little
wore
tight.
it. I've just looked at pictures.
Yeah,
And
but it's
speaking
on
of
point.
the,
It looks
the
good.
company I can or cannot name,
You
I don't
can
know.
name
It's up to you.
Have you tried the Propulse yet?
Joel has a pair.
Yeah,
tried.
I know.
I tried
Yeah.
them once. They're okay.
They're okay. Yeah,
I need to break
see?
them in a little more.
Yeah.
I
Solomon.
wasn't like totally excited about them, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I
The-
gotta run in some more.
The Solomon shoes, especially the S-Labs, fit super tight around the toes.
Really?
And I have a long foot. I don't necessarily have a wide foot, but
A
my
You
long
got that
foot.
long second toe.
I
that
don't.
birdie toe?
My toes are
That
actually
whole simian
I
toe.
don't have
Well, I'm looking
like
down
the
and she's got
creepy-
her mesh cut out so her toe can poke out the front.
Yes, yeah.
It's got that talon out there.
Yeah. I have
The talon toe.
very long feet, but they are like proportionate, I guess.
Okay.
But I live in sandals, so I feel like my toes like to move, thus the Ultras.
Gotcha.
And
Well, there's the Ultra van right there behind you,
That's right.
and we've had a few of them on the show.
We did.
So
We had a couple of sponsored athletes on the show already.
yeah.
Yep.
I knew Adrian ran the 50K. He's one of their
One
of their sales reps.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yep.
him at the last 3 races I've done, I think.
yeah, I think so. We've seen them pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
He's
So
out of Logan.
hair, no hair. Just in general.
In general,
Yeah.
have you seen my husband? I kind of have
can
to
see him
go
from here.
hair.
I can s-
I gotta
Okay.
go hair.
Well, I'm looking at your husband and your dogs.
and my
Oh,
dog. Oh God.
That one dog is super
Oh my
hairy.
God,
Holy
yes.
If
the,
that's-
the fluffy one.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we call her, the fluffy one.
It's super fluffy.
And she's all hair.
And
Yeah.
she's a ginger as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
I'm used
Ding,
to the
ding, ding.
fluffy gingers.
Well, we cannot thank you enough for
Yes.
taking the time right when you finish. Now
And
your
bringing us
family's
a good
over there.
beer.
Oh, this was solid, right?
this
This
beer
has
was
been
good. Yeah.
fantastic in the Rooster's stainless steel pint glass too.
Yeah.
That's-
Keeps it cold.
It does
It
keep
does.
it
That
really
was
cold.
yummy.
Now my belly is keeping it cold. So, well, thanks again
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you.
on the
Thank
show.
you guys.
Good luck getting into Hard Rock next year.
Oh God.
You got to qualify this year. though.
No.
The race that
It'll be
shall
like
not be named.
3 years. Yeah, I'll get on Ultra sign up and sign up for it.
There you
Hey,
go.
we'll get
And
Mark
die.
over here. Mark, get over here. Yeah, we'll get him over here. All right, well, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Jacquie King and give her an absolute pat on the back for a splendid finish at the Buffalo Run. 50-mile race in a time of 10 hours, 58 minutes. Congratulations, Jacquie, and thank you for joining us. We'd like to encourage you all to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or you can swing by our website at trailmanners.com. There you can check out what else we're up to, where we're going to be. Also, we've got gear for sale. There's shirts, hats. Feel free to place an order, support Trail Manners podcast and everything we're doing here. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.